Welcome back, Soulmates. Thank you so much for allowing us to help you move through your Monday afternoon or evening. Let's tap back to today's top stories, just in case you're joining us. So let's go to Missouri, where a community and family is making any last attempts possible to save the life of a man who is scheduled to be executed tomorrow. Leonard Raheem Taylor was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder over the 2004 killing of his girlfriend and her 3 young children. Now, witnesses say Taylor was 2,000 miles away from the scene of the crime at the time of the murders. Attorneys from the Innocent Project say Taylor's lawyers effectively abandoned him, providing an incompetent defense at his trial. They're asking for the governor to delay the execution until a thorough investigation can be completed. And a week after delivering a powerful eulogy for Tyree Nichols, Reverend Al Sharpton makes a historic trip to the United Kingdom to champion voting rights and police brutality accountability. The civil rights leader will make a 2-day visit to the UK, addressing the shared challenges around voting rights and police accountability for Black Americans and Black Britons. Sharpton will address Nichols' death and the parallels of police brutality in the UK, where the number of stop and searches for Black people increased since the COVID-19 pandemic. And back here stateside, the Republican-controlled House Oversight and Accountability Committee has disbanded the subcommittee on civil rights and civil liberties. The former committee, which focused on issues like voting rights, freedom of assembly, and criminal justice reform measures, was first started back in 2019. Now, the Republican representatives claim the move is to make the House Oversight and Accountability Committee more efficient. There's been no reason given why the subcommittee was removed or if at any point it will be reinstated. And lastly, to Minnesota, where the legislature has advanced a bill to the governor's desk that now restores the voting rights for people with felony records. Current law prohibits voting until a person's sentence is complete, including probation and parole. Now, under this new bill, a person with a felony conviction will be able to cast a ballot upon release from incarceration. There are 21 states that already allow felons to either regain their voting rights immediately after leaving prison. The Court Alive, back to you.
Thank you, Courtney. And now off to news where a federal judge has denied former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick's request to end his supervised release. The judge also reprimanded him for what she said are his unreformed ways. The Detroit Free Press reports that the U.S. District Judge Nancy Edmonds recently denied his request for several reasons, including his allegedly lavish lifestyle while ignoring debts, refusal to take responsibility for his crimes, and showing no change in his behavior. Kilpatrick requested an end to supervision so that he could travel freely as a pastor, assuring the court that he has learned from his mistakes. Kilpatrick, 52, was convicted in 2013 of a slew of federal corruption charges. He served 7 years of his 28-year sentence before former President Donald Trump commuted his sentence.
You know, as a native Detroiter, I think there are some Detroiters where he will always be a favorite. I think there are some Detroiters where he will always be a favorite despite his transgressions. And I do believe that there are a group of Detroiters where, you know, there's no return to what, you know, he blatantly, obviously, you know, did as his years as mayor. You know, he seems to be reformed now, a pastor. A man of the cloth. He's remarried, a new baby. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of, do you believe or don't you? And, you know, do you trust that this second chance is something that will, you know, keep him on the straight and narrow? Or do you just take a look at the past and say there's too much damage and you need to continue with what we, you know, sentenced you to do? And to have to do and be responsible for.
You know, I mean, I certainly believe in redemption. I think a lot of our soulmates believe in redemption. He served 7 years of his 28-year sentence, and so it's not like he got off with just a slap on the wrist. It's pretty significant time served. And I wonder, you know, how much of this reprimand by the judge is, you know, in part because his sentence was commuted. And, you know, by of all people, former President Donald Trump. You know, I wonder if that is a factor, because when I read the story, you could feel the intensity of the rebuke. You could read the intensity of the rebuke from the federal judge. And so I wonder if that may have anything to do with it.
You know, I feel like the sentence was a bit harsh when you look at the landscape of folks in his position who have done what he's done. Of a different persuasion. I thought it was very, very harsh. But I think a lot of this is coming from the fact that when you look back at the story, when you look back at his actions, it was the arrogance and the ego. And I think he just has not been able to, you know, outlive or outstretch that just yet. And that's just where people are. Some people are. Maybe this judge, according to what was being said, that's just where they stand. And he's just going to have to keep it moving, keep going, and keep proving himself.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is making Black history as the College of Law at St. Thomas University, that's in Miami, will become the Benjamin L. Crump College of Law. It's amazing. Now, this will be the first law school in the country named after a practicing Black attorney. The only other law school in the country named for a Black person is named after Attorney Crump's personal hero, by the way, Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. The college was ranked #1 greatest resources for minority students in the 2022-23 Princeton Review Best Law Schools rankings, and Pre-Law magazine rated it among the top 10 best schools for racial justice in 2022 right here in the United States.
Congratulations to Benjamin Crump. That's Black history happening now. And in more Black history, first, Rodney Boyd has become the highest ranking Black officer of color in the Illinois National Guard. Governor J.B. Pritzker recently announced that the Brigadier General Boyd, the Assistant General for the Army of the Illinois National Guard and the Commander of the Illinois Army National Guard, has been promoted to Major General. This makes him the highest ranking Black and officer of color in the nearly 300-year history of the Illinois National Guard. General Boyd, who grew up on Chicago's South Side, stated, quotes, "I stand on the shoulders of giants to achieve this second star."
All right, so let's keep this winning conversation going. Congratulations in order for Tennessee State University's Aristocrat of Bands. The marching band can now add Grammy Award winners to its long list of accomplishments after the band took home wins during last night's show in 2 categories, including Best Roots Gospel Album. The band is now the first HBCU marching band in the nation to win the music industry's highest honor. The list could get even longer once the band learns the outcome of the NAACP Image Awards set for a little later this month. Congrats, y'all.
All right, to all of our soulmates back home in the San Francisco Bay Area, turn up your volume. Rapper E40 has donated $100 grand to Grambling State University's music department. While announcing the surprise, the former GSU student and hitmaker was joined by his wife, Grambling State's president, Rick Gallett, and Dr. Nicole Roebuck, who serve as the school's music department chair and director of bands. The university named their music studio Earl E40 Stephen Sound Recording Studio in his honor as a token of appreciation.
I love it. E40 is gonna keep it real, and he puts his money where his mouth is. I love some E40. Congratulations,
That's right.
man.
I love it too. I love it too.
All right, let's take a look at some history on this day. In the year of 1820, the first organized immigration back to Africa began when 86 free African Americans left the New York harbor aboard the Mayflower of Liberia. They were bound for the British colony of Sierra Leone, which welcomed free African Americans as well as fugitive slaves. And throughout our years, we've often heard about this story, about these free slaves who went back to Africa and made a life for their own. And really, that's what Sierra Leone is known for.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I think that's quite a story there.
Indeed. Yep. Up next, unbelievable moments for Black artists at this year's Grammy Awards.
That's right. We have the best moments from last night and a few headlines about what happened behind the scenes. We'll be right back. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report.
So much happening behind the scenes.